Daniel Dumile, also known as MF Doom, is an American-British hip-hop artist and producer, most known for his rhyme schemes and the characters he's created throughout his career. His impact on hip-hop and rap in the 2000s, 2010s and still to this day is immeasurable, as many current artists have described the amount of influence he's had on their own work. This documentary is about Doom's life as an artist and his personal life, and the impact he's had on music, Bristol and myself. This is the illest villain, MF Doom. Dumile was born on the 13th of July 1971 in London while his parents were visiting family before moving to Long Island, New York, but remained a British citizen. He grew up reading comics and watching cartoons, taking inspiration from these shows and comics later in his career and in his music. In 1988, Dumile created the group KMD with his brother, known as DJ Subrock, and Roden, who was later replaced by Onyx the Burstone Kid. Dumile decided to make the alias Zevlov X the first rap name he would create, but definitely not the last. They first appeared on 3rd Base's track The Gas Face and were later signed to Elektra Records. This resulted in KMD releasing their first studio album, Mr. Hood, in May of 1991. This album included the group's biggest hit, Peach Fuzz, and gave them the momentum for their second album, Black Bastards. Their second studio album was scheduled to release in April 1993, but DJ Subrock was tragically hit by a car and died before it could be. This had a big impact on Dumile, and the album was then scheduled to release a year later until Dumile decided to release it independently in 2000, after being dropped from Elektra Records because of the album's controversial cover. Dumile felt betrayed and so left hip-hop, living damn near homeless, and swore revenge on the industry. Then came 1997. After spending time away from the industry, Dumile made a return to hip-hop by freestyling in open mic events, putting tights over his head to hide his identity. This was the start of the character which Dumile is most known for, MF Doom. Much like hiding his face with tights, Dumile started wearing a mask, taking inspiration from the Marvel Comics character, Dr. Doom. The mask is a symbol in hip-hop and made Dumile unique to the hip-hop scene at the time. He would imitate this style in his music too, sampling cartoons such as Scooby-Doo and the Fantastic Four. Doom is also very well known for the use of samples and how he can change the sound and style of an instrumental to fit his character. Doom signed to Fondulum Records and released his full-length solo LP, Operation Doomsday. This album was the first of many from Dumile's MF Doom character, and included some of Doom's most streamed songs, such as Doomsday,
on Doomsday, ever since the womb till I'm back with my brother went, that's what my tumor said,
and Rhymes Like Dimes.
Hey yo, y'all can't stand right here. In his right hand was your man's worst nightmare.
Then in 2004 came some of Doom's best work, and a lot of Doom's fans' favourite album, Food. This concept album has many lyrics and track titles which include references to foods. Yes, a whole album which references food, and an album in which has some of Doom's most iconic tracks, such as Rap Snitch Knitches,
Rap snitches, telling all their business, sit in the court and be their own star witness. Do you see the perpetrator? Yeah, I'm right here.
One Beer,
There's only one beer left. Rappers screaming all in our ears like we're deaf. Tempt me, do a number on the label.
and my personal favourite, Hoe Cakes.
I got this girl and she wants me to duke her. I told her I'll come scoop her around 8, she said.
But just as great as this album was for Doom, the album that released a few months before has arguably changed hip-hop forever. On March 23rd, 2004, MF Doom partnered with producer Madlib, which formed the group known as Mad Villain. They spent 2 years and many studio sessions creating what is known as MF Doom's masterpiece, and what is known as one of the best hip-hop albums of all time, Mad Villainy. Doom's magnum opus. There is a lot I could talk about for this album, how it impacted an entire generation of hip-hop fans and artists, how it affected me and my taste in hip-hop, how it is iconic, and how it may be the greatest album of the early 2000s. This album will always be known as one of the best of all time, and includes so many 10 out of 10 tracks, such as All Caps,
So nasty that it's probably somewhat of a travesty having me. Then he told the people you can call me your majesty.
Meat Grinder,
Tripping off the beat kinda, dripping off the meat grinder, heat niner, pimpin', stripping, soft, sweet mind.
and Accordion.
The ICE cold, nice to be old. Y2GSD twice to threefold.
Just to name a few. This album is one of my favourite albums by one of my favourite artists and rap producer duos of all time. The production from Madlib is unlike any I've ever heard and has changed the way I view music. Doomale has had many different characters that have made appearances in hip hop. Other than his most famous being MF Doom, other characters include King Ghidorah, Victor Vaughn, and Metal Fingers. King Ghidorah is a three-headed space dragon that is based on the Godzilla character with the same name. In 2003, Doomale released a concept album Take Me to Your Leader under this new alias, which contains subject matters which could be deemed as political and has been called Doomale's most cinematic album. Victor Vaughn is described as being a young time traveller from another dimension, and his name is based on Marvel comic character Dr. Doom's real name, Victor Von Doom. Doomale described Victor in an interview, saying he's like Doom from another dimension. Doomale released Victor's first of two albums, Vaudevillain, in late 2003, and the second, Venomous Villain, in 2005. Metal Fingers is the alias that produces Doom's tracks, and has had multiple albums released under his name. These albums include Special Herbs, Volume 1 to 8. In 2010, MF Doom started his European tour and did shows in some of the biggest cities in the world. This included London, where Doomale was born, and spent some of his earliest years living. When trying to re-enter the US, he was denied as he was still deemed as a UK citizen. While settling in London, Doom released the album Key to the Cuffs, collaborating with producer Gennaro Jarrell and UK artists such as Damon Albarn. This album includes references to Britain and uses Britishisms, while talking about Doom's life in the UK, like on the track Governor.
Catch a throat full from the fire vocal with ash and molten glass like I am Jalo Joko. The volcano out of Iceland, he'll conquer and destroy the rap world like the white man.
MF Doom has had a cultural impact on many different cities and countries. One big example of this is Bristol in England. Bristol was well known for its graffiti and street art, with artists such as Banksy making some of the most well-known art pieces in the modern day. Bristol is also known for its underground scene in music, which has been influenced by hip-hop and birthed the genre of trip-hop, and artists such as Portishead and Gorillaz, which Doom has collaborated with.
These kids is too fast, juiced off a junk tree. You can get loose off a crunk or a funk beat.
Something started today. Where did it go? Where you wanted to say? Where you know November has come when it's gone away.
There have been many different art pieces dedicated to Doom seen in Bristol, and after his death, many people paid their respects online and in the streets. Doom played many gigs in Bristol while exiled in the UK in venues such as the O2 Academy. If you ask almost anyone aged between 16 and 30 in Bristol who MF Doom is, they'll most likely know the underground legend. Throughout his career, Doomale has inspired and impacted many different artists, such as Tyler the Creator, Earl Sweatshirt, and JPEG Mafia, and many more. His impact, however, doesn't end there. Doom has inspired all of his fans through music, just like me. He's inspired me to start producing music in my own free time, and has become one of my favourite musical artists of all time. His uniqueness really appeals to me, and many others like me, and the style in which he makes music is unlike no other. On New Year's Eve 2020, the hip-hop world received terrible news from Doom's Instagram. His wife had posted a picture of Doomale explaining that he had passed away on October 31st that same year. Many people such as me couldn't believe what they were seeing, and some refused to think it was true, thinking this was just a way for him to get more attention for a new project. But a year later, people have realised that we have lost a one-of-a-kind artist and a legend in music. Rest in peace Daniel Dumoulin, father, husband and the illest villain to ever do it.